Media.
Today I have the honor of sitting down with a man whose work and heart have impacted countless young men in our community. He's a proud John C. Smith alum, a member of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and a dedicated leader through the Becoming Kings program. The owner of the Johnson C. Smith Clothing and Apparel, he recently honored in the 2025 Arc of Triumph Award. Please welcome Mr. Alexis Bibbs.
What's up, D?
What's good, family? How you?
Happy to be here, man.
Before we get into this amazing work with young men, tell us, how does it feel to be recognized with the Arc of Triumph Award this year?
That felt good. Probably one of the most proudest accomplishments, days of my professional, just adult life. Um, I've been in this community space, professional, advisor, advocate role for a very long time. So for the place that I call home, meaning Johnson C. Smith University, my alma mater, which I graduated 20 years ago, to honor me in that fashion, in front of my peers on that stage, next to the president that I once had who offered me a job out of college, it was a God moment. It felt right. It felt I was right where I needed to be, and it felt good to be recognized, for my work, because a lot of what I do, what I've done, nobody ever will ever see because it's those conversations.
Indeed. You're originally from the D.C. area.
Yes, sir.
What was it like growing up there?
Man, D.C., Chocolate City, as they used to say back in the day, they just say DMV or the area. D.C. is love, man. That's all I know. It's crazy because my mom, she was born in Charlottesville, Virginia. So, DMV is just everywhere with us. But D.C. was cool. You got the mumbo sauce, you got go-go, growing up I was born in the 80s, so that's prime DC. I remember Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Redskins back in the day, AI coming through Georgetown, the Capitol Center, before the MCI Center, before the Verizon Center, like all the things. DC was just love. It was just that vibe. It's all I knew. You grew up down the street from Howard University in Northwest Washington, so, from the Northwest side. And then, we ran into a little bit of issues. Our house got broken into, man. We moved to Silver Spring, Maryland, which is comparable to, like, let's say you go from Beatty'sford Road to like Huntersville, in Charlotte terms. But we moved on up, and honestly, my dad coined this. He says probably one of the best things that could have ever happened to us, because it gave me an opportunity to expose me to a better education system, going to a Maryland public school.
Were the people in your life, whether it be mentors or role models, who poured into you as a young man?
I mean, outside of my pops and my coaches through the Boys and Girls Club and stuff like that, but my sophomore year, Mr. McNeil, who actually works at Rocky River High School right now. Believe it or not, man, I was a bad kid. I was a rebellious kid. I was trying to skip class one day. I'm 6'3", trying to skip class in the 10th grade. I was just going down a dark path, but what nobody knew did. I was experiencing a lot of trauma at home with my mom. My mom was getting physically and verbally abused by, my brother's father at the time. So I was trying to be rebellious and act out, right? I was trying to take my anger out on something. But Mr. McNeil, he put his arm around me. Like, I've had the chance to put my arm around so many young people professionally and help them, but he introduced himself. Even I was looking at this guy like, man, who are you, man? I ain't trying to talk to you, but bro, he put books in my hand. He gave me exposure. He took me to Delaware State, Hampton University, Norfolk State, all these HBCUs, and he just poured into me and put me in this program called Amate, African American Males, aiming to excel, and just surrounding me by other young men like myself in my high school. So I started in my 10th grade year. And then obviously I was in until I graduated. And he's the reason I visited Johnson C. Smith University. It wasn't my parents that took me there. It was Mr. McNeil in that program.
Yeah. Man. Looking back, what values or lessons from your upbringing still guide you today?
I mean, it's a lot. I think one that I'm really just dealing with right now is just believing in yourself, right? Just that self-worth, that fine line between being humble but not being arrogant, but just knowing my value, right? Knowing that, I'm called by God. I don't need anybody to qualify me. Like, I'm already qualified. Just be genuine, be nice, be authentic. I think so much in this world that we live in, everybody's trying to be somebody else. I'm just trying to be the best version of me, right?
Indeed.
Lastly, just give back. I once was, in certain circumstances and situations growing up in DC, Boys and Girls Club. I watched my mom, wait for checks and stuff like that. So, you just humble beginnings. What I'm saying? Not because I give money to homeless people or I volunteer and stuff like that, but like I don't feel like I'm above anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I see somebody in need, whether it's support, whether it's a resource, like if I have it, I'm gonna share. So just be humble and give back and just believe in myself.
You attended the great Johnson C. Smith University.
Yes, sir.
What experiences at Smith shaped who you are as a leader and a man?
Well, I think first just being away from DC, right? Like we make up so much about college, about the this school or that school, but it was just the idea that I'm going 7 hours away from home. There's no family in Charlotte, and I'm gonna figure this thing out. But I think the lessons are just trial and error, right? My pops used to tell me, one, this is the best time of your life to be broke. I used to hit him up for bread all the time. I tell you these stories. That's before Cash App. That's before Zelle.
Right.
You had to actually go to a bank and put the money in your account, or they wire you the money, or they put it in an envelope. But one, it's the best time of your life to be broke. Two, get to know people from different areas, right? There's this myth that all black people are the same. So when you go to HBCU, like, oh, there's no diversity. DC people are different from New York people, from Philly people, from South Carolina people, from Charlotte people, Cali people, upstate New York, Boston, everybody's different. So just getting around, what they call black excellence, but just my people. And just not apologizing for who I am because I'm just another black person. I'm just from a different state or a different city than you. But also just the exposure piece. Like Smith exposed me to so much. And it surprises people when I tell them, like, it's because of Smith I stayed at Duke University for a summer. It's because of Smith I interned with the Carolina Panthers. It's because of Smith that I helped launch ESPNU in Ballantyne, North Carolina. Like this little small school that people take for granted exposed me and catapulted me to so many opportunities.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Shout out Smith.
For sure.
You're a proud member of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Blue Phi, you know.
How has brotherhood and service through Sigma influenced your approach to mentoring young men?
Brotherhood, scholarship, and service is the three pillars the organization was founded on, right? So you got brotherhood, right? Just loving on your brother, helping your brother. Scholarship is, that piece about education and service, serving your community. I mean, Phi Beta Sigma, shout out to our chapter, the Alpha Epsilon chapter, which is the chapter at Johnson C. Smith that all of us come through. It just exposed me and helped me in so many ways. I think for one, I always wanted bigger brothers. I'm the oldest in my family, right? So just to expose myself to a network. To me, all Greek organizations stand for the same thing. What made Sigma stand out to me in college is how they moved on campus, the workshops. I ain't got no rhythm, so the steps didn't really make me want to, they stepping good at this. They actually lost the first step show my freshman year, but it's just the way they carried themselves on campus. So I figure like, I align myself with them. But I love my fraternity. I love my frat brothers. Fun fact, I actually got to work for our fraternity a couple years. The headquarters of our fraternity is located in Northwest Washington, D.C. So after I was initiated to the organization my sophomore year, I networked, connected with people that worked at the headquarters at the time, and they told me every time I come home, I got a job. So they provided me employment.
Now, you are known for philanthropist.
Yes, sir.
Why is you giving back so important to you personally?
I think it's the rent we pay to live on this earth, man. You got to give back, right? You have to pay it forward. You have to give back to others. You have to just be of service, right? I think you do your research on the Warren Buffetts. You do your research on all of these people that made way more money than I can think of. But I think ultimately people will remember you by how you treat them, right? How you treat them is service, right? You be kind. You let me come alongside. Let me walk with you. Let me go serve with you. Let me help you in this situation. But I mean, Smith, just coming to the South, right? Just pricking my heart. Being exposed to the culture down here, and I'll honestly credit it to my wife, who I met in '07, but she just always volunteered at church. She loves volunteering. She just has that in her heart. I used to be like, man, you ain't getting paid for that. But then I tried it.
It trickled down to you.
And I tried it again. And I found that most of the time, if not all of the time, if I'm being honest, you're your happiest when you're giving back. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
You go to serve somebody else. So part of my professional career, I believe, is service. It's community, it's advocacy, it's a coach, it's a mentor, if you will, but ultimately it falls under service.
Can you share a story of a young man whose life was changed because someone believed in him?
I think we could talk about Brother Miles.
Indeed.
Miles, who, as you know, is one of your customers now. Again, it's my guy, man. It's my guy who I met at West Met a few years ago. He's now a senior, and I remember meeting him and his family going into his first week of high school at West Met. And it kind of reminded me of the me and Mr. McNeil thing. And, Miles was a little apprehensive about this tall, random dude who was growing his hair out at the time. And his mom was trying to sign him up for this program. But, it was just me telling his mom, like, I got him. Like, he's good with me. He's good with my program. But, to see where we started in that first interaction, to just see him just recently, he's a senior now. He's driving. He's got a job. He's applying to all of these big schools that I never would have got qualified to be a part of. But, it's dope when he wants to FaceTime me and talk about things, because I no longer work at West Mecklenburg High School, whether it's personal stuff or whether it's stuff that's going to help him prepare a better college application or just guy stuff, right? That maybe he don't feel comfortable talking about to anybody else but his mentor, BIBBS, man. But that's really like my little brother, man. And I love that kid, man, because, he is like Miles is like almost probably the 2025 version of me if I was born in this era, right? If you put me and Mr. McNeil in this era, that would be me and Miles, pretty much, man. But that's my dude, and again, get to be his mentor, and I'm proud of him. I hope he sees this. I'm proud of you, bro, and you got a long way to go. Keep going, and I'm here for you for life.
Shout out, Miles.
Shout out, Miles, and his mustache.
And his mustache. Tell us about Becoming Kings program. What is this mission, and how did you get involved?
Yeah, the Becoming Kings program is an awesome program at Johnson C. Smith University. Got me over here about to tear up talking about that boy, man. But so it wasn't my idea. It was a program started by another alum. Shout out to Brittany. Brittany came up with this idea that she pitched to the university about a young male program, an incoming male program that's going to help retention, which means to retain the kids there and come back year after year to help with graduation rate. And believe it or not, D, just to help bring more black males to Johnson C. Smith. And she shaped it in a way of like, if we set it up where the students fall between this GPA range, this is the GPA range that students don't get academic scholarships. So they come to the program, they get selected, 25 individuals come to the program, they take 2 courses over the summer, which is a 6-week class, Smith Seminar, Public Speaking. Smith Seminar is basically all things that get you prepared for college at JCSU. Public Speaking is a public speaking class, writing, talking, public speaking, debate, LinkedIn, all that. Outside of that, we do corporate visits. So every Wednesday we'll go to maybe Barings or the FBI or Goodwill or TIA, CREF, or Duke Energy, just to expose these young men to opportunities outside of Johnson C. Smith. Because one day they're going to want an internship. One day they're going to want a job, right? Mm-hmm. So we're showing you what exists here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Because believe it or not, all of them are not from Charlotte. We get students from New York, Miami, some Charlotte kids, some DMV kids. But it's great, man. Next year we'll graduate our first cohort, our first class. So that first group that came in the summer of 2022 will be graduating next spring. And I'm planning some amazing things for them. But, that ties back to just 1998 when McNeil put his arm around me, right? Mm-hmm. This is a different situation, but it's just the power of somebody, a mentor, another man, professionally just loving on somebody and say, yo, I got you, I'm going to support you. And me and Mr. McNeil still talk to this day.
Absolutely.
But the Becoming Kings program is awesome. So again, 6 weeks, 25 students are selected. I get to handpick them. I interview them. They come down. I partner with athletics. So I got football players, basketball players, band. I got non-traditional students. I got gamers. So I have a very diverse group of young men. Oh, and it's even doper because now I have a lot of my friends who have graduated from Johnson C. Smith. Their kids are in the program.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Evolving door. What are some of the biggest challenges you see in young men today?
Mm-hmm. I think we all are the most distracted generation. I think if I had to pick one thing beyond being distracted, I just think that they want it instantly, right? Because of, say, the internet, because of social media, because of things, right? When we were coming up back in our day, the dinosaur age, it's like, We had to plan to get it. We had to save up a little bit. Now it's just an instant thing like, oh, I need some money for some Chick-fil-A. Let me hit up Unc real quick. Now I got $10 in my pocket.
Yep.
Right? Where back in the day we had to go without. So I just think that changes their mental where like I gotta get it now. I gotta have shoes now. I gotta have a new phone now. I gotta get this equipment right now, tomorrow. We gotta go to the store right now. But I just think patience is the thing because when they don't get it right away, and I'm living proof of it. Like my life is getting better. My life has gotten better ever since I turned 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, my thing I used to tell the kids at West Meck was what tastes better, food out the oven or food out the microwave? Now I know that depends, but most of that Thanksgiving food that we all gather around that table was prepared in the oven, on the stove, not in the microwave. And we come back every year. So the point is, patience will take you a long way. Like, put it in the oven, prepare yourself brick by brick, right? We heard this analogies before, but just don't give up on yourself too quick and don't compare yourself, right? But that's back to the social media piece.
When you sit down with a young man who feels lost or overlooked, what's the first thing you tell him?
Believe in yourself. I try to maybe get to the root of why you feel overlooked, why are you down. Maybe try to level set with them. Maybe set some short-term and long-term goals and see how I can support. Not try to insert my story too much into maybe what they're going through, but maybe try to find a thread. Oh, I thought about that before. I experienced that. I was once cut from a team, or I was once denied, but this is how I overcame. Now, for transparency, it took me this long to get here. Might not take you that long, but understand it's possible, right? Going back to that timeline, like just being patient, right? But everything wants everybody right now. But then, then you got to get in your bag. Like, well, if you was gifted everything right now, 18, 19, 21 years old, 14, 15 years old, what's the rest of your life to live?
How can the community, parents, leaders, and everyday people better support our young men?
I think we got to pour into these programs. I think, I want to get too much, caught up in the politics of the education system, but I just don't think our country values education, right? So we got to get into these programs. We got to get into these kids. We got to pour into them. That's why, I love communities and schools where I used to work. YMCA, I grew up through the United Way in the DMV, Kingdom Boys and Girls Club, like programs like that. Again, Amate, programs like Mr. McNeil, it didn't cost anything. It was just time, right? Time is the biggest currency. So spend time with these young people, invest in these young people. If you see a youngin in the community, man, hey, send him to band camp this year. I'm gonna send him to basketball camp. I'm gonna put him in this STEM program, teach him some skills. Get him off the streets, right? Right. You gotta give back. We gotta reach back. That's how this thing is gonna get better. Whether they in your bloodline or you see somebody in the community or a family friend, hey, I just want to be a blessing to your family, right?
Teach one, teach one.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of with me when I was at the MEC and I would take these kids and so I'm like, you taking this kid? It ain't about this school. I just want to expose him to life out of Charlotte. Dude ain't never been outside of 485. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He ain't never been outside of West Charlotte, right? So to put him on a bus, feed him, take him to Raleigh, take him to North Carolina Central, take him to A&T to Greensboro, take him down to South Carolina State or Orangeburg. It's just exposure, right? Because when you can't, what they say, exposure leads to expansion.
Indeed. Hey, what's next for you in your work? What vision are you carrying forward after the Arc of Triumph recognition?
Right now, I'm in a transitional period. I just accepted a new role with a new organization, so right now I'm still onboarding and doing my best with that. It's a great organization. I'm taking a manager role. I accepted a manager role, so I don't work as close with students anymore. I work with the adults that work with the students. So right now it's about gaining more experience so that I can go to whatever level I'm supposed to go to. But for me, my heart recently, because you brought up back up the Arc of Triumph, my heart recently is just like going back home, right? No pun intended, to homecoming is coming up, but like going back to the soil, going back to the roots of where I started here in Charlotte, and that's Johnson C. Smith University, where I used to work. And again, through the Becoming Kings, I'm back working in now through a contract, but I really just want to level up my HBCU, right, and put Smith back in that conversation. And I think one of the ways to do that is the Becoming Kings program, because we got some national recognition this year, man. This past summer, I had a 15-year-old in my program who was an early college student. And this story went viral by him being 15 coming to Johnson C. Smith. But the question was, how can he adapt to college? And the answer was through my summer program, the Becoming Kings program. He was able to come on campus for 6 weeks, learn the campus, socialize, and just adapt in many ways.
Mr. Bibbs, your story and dedication reminds us that building kings means building futures. Thank you for sharing your journey with us and continuing to pour into the next generation. Congratulations again on the Arc of Triumph Award. Well deserved, brother.
Thank you.
My last question. If you could leave one message with young men listening right now, what would it be?
Young men, in this thing called life, you're going to make mistakes. You can't beat yourself up. You got to get back up. I heard a wise man say today, he said his pops told him, if you make a bad decision, just make another decision. You move on. You learn from it. You take care of yourself. You know, as they say, you stay out the way. You save your money. You take care of your physical and mental health. You put the right things in your body. But you want to live the long game. You got to value life. I think that's the one thing I talk to this generation. They laugh at me. I'm getting old. Like, I'm not old. 42 years old. You want to get it. I want to get to 62, 82, 92. But it starts now with how you carry yourself, how you move, however you want to say it. But you really got to take care of yourself. You got to believe in yourself. You got to continue education beyond high school, beyond college. So whether it's a podcast, whether it's audio books, whether it's just discussions, whether it's just putting down technology, right? We're so conditioned to technology, but we got to get back around days where we're just talking, we're just vibing, we're building, right? On the business side of the conversation, not that you asked that, but I just thought of it. Collaboration over competition. You know, our culture promotes getting it out the mud, self-made, and all of those things. Those things are true for a very small amount of people, but the success I found is with attaching myself to institutions, meaning Johnson C. Smith, meaning other organizations, or other like-minded people like myself that have a goal like mine. And we've done a lot of successful events, collaborations, functions, sneaker releases, sneaker showcases together. So group economics is what I'm trying to say. You know, group economics, like put your money with somebody else, but get that paperwork together though. You know, so much of it's ideas. We could do this, and that's great, but you don't know if this idea is going to skyrocket or it's going to plummet. Talk through the paperwork stuff. Give yourself time and believe in yourself.
Thank you, man. Anything you want to plug?
JCSU homecoming in a couple of weeks, man. Ryan Davis comedy show Wednesday at the Comedy Zone. Thursday night we at Alibi. Friday we at Encore XO for the One Big Day party. I have to be sponsored by Duce and Ace of Spades. I just got to check my phone. Saturday we closing it out. The Black Party at Supper Club. JCSU homecoming. I'm a proud Golden Bull. 20 years, graduated from Johnson C. Smith. I'm still here. It's beautiful. I made Charlotte my home. So many people love on me in this community. I love them back, which is why I give back so much, because this place, this city, that institution gave me a better life. I tell my students all the time, it's the biggest trampoline I ever stepped on. So I'm grateful and thankful. Appreciate you for having me.
Thank you.